After we have discussed a lot of things, now let us talk about the other topic called square and square root. We just want to know a little bit about square and square roots. But before we do anything, we just want to know introduction, I mean the definition of know what is the square and what is the square root. Now, a square is the number that determines how many times the number being multiplied by the number itself. That is to say, the number that is used to determine how many times the number have been multiplied by the number itself. That is taking the number and then you multiply by that number, by the number itself. You just multiply it by the number itself. Thus, we say the square is the product of the same number. The product of the same number. Example, you just want to know how to find the square of the number. So find the square of 144. That is to say, you take this 144, you just multiply by the number itself. That is 144 times 144, which means you got 20,736. So finding the square is all about multiplying the number by the number itself. That's why I have written this 144 times 144. But find the square of 64. Just want to know that we just want to find out the square of the 64. It's all about finding the square. That's all about multiplying the number by the number itself. That's all. We say it is 64 times 64. The square of 64 is all about taking 64 times 64, which is equal to 4,096. So finding the square is all about multiplying. Kwa unazidisha namba yenyewe kwa yenyewe. Kwa hiyo if it is 144, unazidisha kwa yenyewe tena 144. That is how we find out the square of the numbers. But we just have the other things called square roots. We just have the other things called square roots. So the square root is an opposite of the square. The square root is an opposite of the square. Now, the square root of the number is the number used to find out the square of the number. The number that is applied to find out the square of the number, that is called the square root of the number. And that is the number that is multiplied by the number itself to get the square number. Now, talking about the square root is the number used to find out the square of the number. That is the number that's multiplied by the number itself to get the square number. So let us see more detail about the square root and the square, a little bit about the square, because it is very understandable. It is very simple. But when you talk about the square root, something complicated, but so not too much enough that to make somebody feel so tired about it. So let us see more detail about it. Now, when we have said when finding the square is the number that is obtained when taking the number and multiplied by the number itself. Example, we have said when you talk about 144, that is 144 times 144. So the square, the product of this one is called the square of 144. But when you talk about 4, you just want to obtain the square of number 4. Now that is 4 times 4. So when you are taking this number and then you multiply by the number itself, you're just talking about the square. So the square is all obtained when taking the number and then you multiply by the number itself. Not only taking the number itself, but it's all about multiplying them. So when you get the product of the multiplying that one, that is what we call this the square. Now the square, the product, is the number that obtained by after multiplying the number by the number itself, and then you get what we call the square. But when you talk about the square root, it's an opposite of the square roots. Now square roots are opposite of the square. The number that is used to find out the number which is used to find out. We talk about the number that is used to find out the square. Now, that number that is called the square root. Now, when you talk about 4, now we've been talking about 4. 4 is obtained by taking 2 times 2. That is to say, we have taken 2, and then we have taken 2, and then we have multiplied by the number itself. Now, we got 2 times 2 is equal to 4. Now, taking this number 2 is the square root of 4. Now, the number that is used to find out the square, that is called the square root. Now, example, you're talking about 144. The square roots of this number, that is to find out the number that have been used to find out the square. This is the square. Now, we just want to find the square root of this number. Now, the number which have been used to to find out the square, it is 12. Now 12 times 12 is equal to 144. Now writing 12, that is called the square root. Now the square root of 144 is equal to 12. Now let us see more detail about the square root, but we have just one know what is the sign. We just have the sign. This is the sign. The sign used to show this, we talk about the square root. Now this is a sign. So when someone have written this one, 144, you're talking about the square root of 104. Now when somebody comes and writes, find this one. So this is mean to find the square. Instead of writing the words, you write this sign, and this shows that you're talking about the square root. Now the one, just find the square root of 144. So finding out the square root of this one is not an easy, it is not difficult inside. Lakini ujue kwamba ngapi mara ngapi namba zenyewe zinazofanana upate 144. Kwa hiyo kama when you talk about 2 times 2, when you talk about 3 times 3, when you talk about 4 times 4, when you talk about 5 times 5, when you talk about 6 times 6, when you talk about 7 times 7, until you get 104, you find 12 times 12 is equal to 144. 144. Kwa lazima iwe namba inayofanana ili kupata hiyo. Lakini how since this will be so impossible for us because it will take my time to find out what we're talking about. Imagine for the number of numbers, I mean for the big number, it will be so difficult for you just to find by using this formula. So we just have the principle on how to go about. Badala ya kufikiri kwamba namba hii nisitishe kwa namba hii nipate 144, kuna sheria na taratibu za kuweza kufanya hivi. Kwa 2 mara 2 4 mpaka ukapata hii itakuchukua muda mrefu sana. Lakini lengo ni kwamba namba hii ukisitisha yenyewe kwa yenyewe uletee 144. Kwa ndo maana 2 mara 2, 3 mara 3, usifanye 3 mara 4, 3 mara kama ni 4 mara 4, kama ni 5 iwe 5 mara 5, kama ni 6 iwe 6 mara 6, kama ni 7 iwe 7 times 7, kama ni 8 iwe 8 times 8, kama ni 9 iwe 9 times 9. Lazima ziwe like numbers, namba ambazo zinafanana kabisa, with the same quantity, with the same properties. Now that's why we have said 12 times 12 is equal to 144. Now 12 is the square root of, and it's already written above here, and here 144, and here it is 12. But this is not a good solution how to go about because it will take you much time to complete this one. But you can't even get it for a big number because you will definitely spend much time just solving one question. And you have got a lot of questions within an hour. So what is next? You have to follow the principle. So we have the alternative way on how to go about. But this is the way that we start out. We think of the number, that we multiply by the number itself, you get 144. Now let us see the solution how to go about, some little examples on how to go about. Now let's go. Now let us see more example about find out the square root. We just have the first one, find the square roots of 64. That is to say we have 64. Now the square root of 64, we think of the number that will multiply by the number itself so as we get 64. So we start with 1 times 1, then 2 times 2, then 3 times 3, then 4 times 4, then 5 times 5, until you get 8 times 8 is equal to 64. Now remember, we just want to find out 64. So it is 8 times 8 is equal to 64. Now 8 should be written here and other 8 should be written here. But the product of the number which have got the same quantities, we just write it here. Now the answer is 8. Now the square root of 64 is equal to 8. Now the second example is find the square roots. Find the square roots of this one, 144. If it is all about finding the square root of 144, we just need to solve it in the principle that we have to use it in the way that we can simplify to get the correct answer. Not only by writing, but we just need to write it in the correct way. So when you look at here, you will definitely, we have the principle. You separate the numbers in pairs. The numbers in pairs. From the right hand side go to the left hand side. Unatenga number, pair number. Pair number ni number mbili. Now 1, 2. You separate the numbers in pairs. Unatenga number mbili kutoka kulia kwenda kushoto. Now here it is 1, 2. Then this is the first number. Now you start with the first number from the left hand side of the number. You start with the first number from the left hand side of the number. When you look at here, the first number is now 1. The first number now is 1. But you think of the number that will multiply by itself so as you get 1 or the nearest number to 1. Therefore, it is 1 times 1. Now, 1 times 1 is equal to 1. Now, minus. Now, it is over now. You can take this one. You take the second group of the number. Not only dropping number 1. No, not only dropping the digit. We just drop the number. That is the group of numbers. Now, the group of digits, we just have 44, which is the second group now. We just drop it here, 44. Now, after you have written here, this is 44. Remember, you just take this 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1. You just write it here. 1 plus 1, it is 2. Now, after you have written there, you just write parallel to this one. Now, they are in series, so they are parallel, just parallel this one. Now, this is 2, and this is 44. Now, you just write 2 here. When you put it here 1, you just multiply by 1. But it's equal to 21. But when you just put it here 2, you just multiply by 2, which is equal to 44. Now, we are looking for the number which is called 44. Now, we have got it. So, because we have written here 2, also here you write 2. And that's why this time this one you got 44. Now this is what you would have done. So it is very essential, it is very important for us to remember that we need to do something about this. If we need to do something about it, we just want to know what is going on now. When this is over, now it is 144 and then we get this one. So the answer, the square root of 144, it is 12. Now let us see the next example here, which is find the square roots. Find the square root of 3,381. 3,481. As I said earlier, the first principle is all about separating the numbers in pairs from the right-hand side of the number. Separating the digit in pairs. You just separate the digit in pairs from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. Now, when you look at this one, separating them in pairs, that is two digits per each. Now, per each group you separate 2 digits, but you have to do it from the right-hand side going to the left-hand side. Now, this is 1, this is 2. Now you separate. So this is the first group. This is 1, 2, the second group. Now, this is the first group from the left-hand side, and this is the second group from the left-hand side. Now, you start with the first group. Now, you just write in this form. We just 34, and then we have 81. So if that had been the case, you have to start with the first group from the left-hand side of the number. The first group of numbers from the left-hand side of the number is 34. Now you think of the number, this is 34. Kwa unaanza na kundi la kwanza kutoka mkono wa kushoto, ambao ni 34. Now you think of the number that will multiply by itself, so you get 34. Or the nearest number to 34. Now you start, we just have 1 times 1, 2 times 2. 3 times 3. Now 1 times 1, 1. 2 times 2, it is 2. It is 4 now. It is 9. Now 4 times 4 is equal to 25. And then 5 times 5. No. Is equal to 16. Yeah? 5 times 5 is equal to 25. And then 60 times 6 is equal to 36. But we are not looking for the number which is greater than 34. We are just looking for the number which is smaller than 34, but should be the nearest number to 34. But it is not supposed to be greater than number 34. Now, if that were any case, what we should do, it is all about understanding the way that we want to do it. This is how we do. Now, it is 5 times 5. We just like 5 times 5, which is equal to 25 now. Now minus. Now subtracting this one, it is 14 minus 5, which is equal to 9. Now, what we need to do from here is that we just want to drop the next group. We just drop the group and not at least the digit. We did in divisions was all about dropping one number after another. But here we just drop the second group. So the group of the number is 81. Now you drop it here. Now this is no longer 81. It is 981. If it is 981, as I said earlier, you just take this one plus this one. Now 5 plus 5, it is 10. So if it is 10, we just looking for the number which is 981. Now what you do, you check this 10. Then you start 10. When you put here 1, becomes 101. Then you multiply by 1. If you put here 2, then you multiply by 2. It is 102 times 2. If you put here 4, then you multiply by 4. When you put here 5, you multiply by 5. And then until you get 981. So definitely when you look at here, then when you put here 5, it is 5, it is 2, then it is 5. This 525. So this is not an answer. We are looking for 981. Now we just add 9 and then 9 here. It is 81, here it is 8, here it is 9. Now this is 981. And therefore, we have that here it is 9, and then that 9, you write it here, and that's the answer, 981. Now minus. So the answer here is 59. We have done the solution and we have shown how to go about. It is only the reason why we want to get the correct answer. Now, this is how we do. The first principle is all about separating the number, the terms of the number from the right hand side going to the left hand side. And now let us see the first example here. Now, the first example, as I said earlier, this is 6 per 100. I mean, 6,516. Now, this is how we like it. Now, as I said earlier, we must separate the number from the right hand side going to the left hand side in pairs. Now, 1, 2, then 1, 2. So we have, then it is 1. We have 3 groups here. Now let us see how can we solve this one. Now we have 60, we have 0, 5, and we have 16. So this is the group of numbers. Now the first group is 6. Now you think of you should start with the first group from the left hand side of the number. Now from the left hand side of the number, we just have 6. So you think of the number that will multiply by itself, so as you get 60, or the nearest number to 6. Now you definitely find 2 times 2, because when you take 3 times 3, you find it is 9. And 9 is greater than 6. Now it is 4. Now minus, here it is 2. Now after you have got the remainder here, you drop the second group, which is 0, 5. Group of numbers, 0, 5. It is 205, that is to say 205. Now, you take this number plus this one, that is 4. Now, you think of the number, that definitely you will put it here, and answer you get at least 205, or the nearest to this number. Now, you think of, now it is 4. 1. It is 1, that is 41. Now, if it is 2, that is it. When you put here 4, let's say it is 4. Now, times 4. 4 times 4, it is 16. That is 16, 17. Now, it is 45 times 5. Then, it is 45, it is 20. Now, it is 22. Now, this is greater than this one. This is 225, but we're looking for 205, or less than 205. Now, this is impossible now. Now, you just put it 4 here. Now, it is 4, then if it is 4, 176 minus. Now, 15 minus 6, it is 9. Now, 9 minus 7, it is 2. Now, 1 minus 1, it is now. Now, it is now, we just add. We just got the third group now. The third group now is 16. That is, now, this becomes 2,000. So, we have written here 4, and here we should write it 4. Now, remember, we have taken this 2 plus, we have taken this 2 plus 2. Now we just take this 4 plus 44. Kwa mara kwanza tumechukua huyu tukamjumlisha na huyu. Sasa hivi kila huyu hapa inabidi tumchukue huyu hapa tumjumlisha hapa. Inakuwa 48. So that is 48. Now remember, we just want to do something better. The same case is applied to here. You just write 48. Then you add number here. If you have added 3 here, you multiply by 3. If you add here 3, becomes 483. But if you add here 4, becomes 484. Then you multiply by 4. Then this 4 times 4, 16. Now 4 times 8, it is 30. It is 32. Now plus 1 is 33. Now here it is 20. No. It is 16. Plus 3, it is 19. Now that is impossible. Now, you look for the other number. You look for the other number. You keep on trying. Let us try. You just have. Let us try here. You just have 480. Now let us see 6. Then 6 times 6, 36. Here it is 48 plus 151. Now here it is 24. Now plus 5, it is 29. So, if you have written here 6, you say 6, you multiply by 6 again, because we just multiply by the number itself. So if you have written here 6, you multiply by 6. If you have written here 7, you multiply by 7. If you have written here 8, you multiply by 8. Now, I've multiplied there by 2, by 4, then I've got 1,936. But here I've multiplied by 6, and then I've got 2,916. Now, now you write here 60, and there it is 6. Now, 2,916. So, this is how we do. Now, we just have the answer for 6,516. The square root of this number is equal to 200. Now, an answer is equal to 246. So, this is firstly how we do. You have to be very careful when talking about the square root. There is something that's maybe a little bit difficult when doing this part, but not in such. So we have to know, we have to be just very careful in solving these numbers. Now this is, it is 636,804. This is 636,804. Now the same thing that we have to do is to separate this number in pairs, in terms of the pairs. From the left-hand side, from the right-hand side, going to the left-hand side of the number. Now, 1, 2, 1, 2, then 1, 2. So we have 3 groups. The first group here is 3, 6, 3, 6, 8, and then we just have 0, 4. This is the number that we have got. And now, handouts. Now we have to start with the first group from the left-hand side of the number. Remember, this is 63. Now you think of the number that you multiply by the number itself, so as to get the 3. Number of is this yenyewe kwa yenyewe, you pata 63. So it is 5 times 5, possible. 6 times 60, 7 times 7, 49. 8 times 8 is 64, but this is 63. Now it is 7 times 7, which is equal to 49. Now minus. Now it is 13 minus 9. 13 minus 9. You got 4. Now it is 5. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now you drop the second number, which is this one. Now you take this one plus this one, which is equal. So you take this 7 plus this one. Now it is 14. Now you think of the number, that definitely we put it here, so as we get 1,468. Not more than this number, but less than, or the exact number, this one, or the exact number. Now, to start, 4, then when you put your 5, then you multiply by 5. Then 145 times by 5 is 25. Then here it is 22. Now it is 725. So this is not. Now let us do by 7. 147. Now by 7. 49. Here it is 28. Plus 2, it is 32. Now this is 97 plus 3. Now it is 10. Now let us see by 8. 8. Becomes 148 times 8. Now it is 64. Now it is 32 plus 6. 32 plus 60 is 38. Now this is 11. Now it is 8 plus 3 is 11. Now let us see by 9. 149 times 9. Then it is 81. Here it is 36. 36 plus 8, it is 42. 36 plus 44. 36 plus 8, it is 44. Now, here it is 9. Then it is 13. So, this is possible because we are not supposed to try more than this one. Because when you say but that is something impossible. And therefore you say it is 9. If it is 9, you write here 9 also. Then it is 1341. Here minus. It is 7, then it is 2, then it is 1. So it is 127. We need to drop the next group of the number. Now the next group is 04. But I said earlier, you take this 9, then you add up it here. Then plus 9, it will become 158. So remember, we just want to get this one. So the same method that is will be used here. So you have 158. If you just want here 1, you multiply by 1. But if you just want 2, you multiply by 2. Therefore, we talk about 4. Now it is 2 times 2. That is, now it is 4, that is 16, that is 10, then 11, that is 3. Now, it is 158. That is 8 times 8. Now times. So we have written here 8. When you write here 8, and then you multiply it by 8. Then, it is 8 times 8, 64. Then, here it is 64 again, plus 60, 70. Now, 8 times 5, it is 40, plus 7, 47. Now, 8 times 1, it is 1. It is 8 plus 4, it is 12. Now, it is 8 here, and then here it is 8. Then, 12, 7, below 4. Now, this is that. No. Now, the square root of this number, that is 636,804 is equal to 799. Now, an answer is equal to 798. So, it is very important. What is it important? You have to know, first of all, you have to know how to separate the number. Remember, we just separate them from the right-hand side of the number going to the left-hand side of the number. And we just separate them. But when you have done so, you just start with the first number, I mean the first group from the left-hand side of the number, which is 63. And now you think of the number, that will multiply by the number itself, so as you get 63. And therefore 7 times 7 is 49. Why is it not 8 but times 8? Because 8 times 8 is equal to 64. And 64 is greater than 63. And we are not supposed to find out the number which is greater than. We are looking for the number which is smaller than. And therefore, this is equal to 14 now. Now, if you have that the difference between this number and this is 14. Now, you take this number plus this number becomes 14. And now, you just write the number. When you have written here 1, you multiply it by 1. When you have written here 6, you multiply by 6. But the intention is all about finding 1,000. After dropping the second group, you get 1,468. And therefore, you find the nearest number to this one. Or the exact number, this one. Now, when you get one, you get this one. After you have got that one, you take this number then, plus this number. Becomes 158. And therefore, you write the number here. If you have written 7 here, you multiply by 7. If you have written 8, you multiply by 8. Until you get the exact number, this one. Or the nearest number to this one. So this is how possible we do. And therefore, the difference between the square and the square root. I've shown you earlier that we have the difference between the square and the square root. So you have to know the difference. Kwa lazima utambue utofauti kati ya square na square roots. Because square is an opposite of the square root. And the square root is an opposite of the square. So you have to know the difference between. And therefore the square is the product of the same number with the same quantity. Now if it is 7, the square of 7, you say 7 times 7. If it is 8, 8 times 8. But when you talk about the square roots, you looking of the number that have been used to find out the square number. Now, if you're talking about 144, that is which number should you multiply by the number itself so as you get 144. So this is all about calculating the square root of the numbers. Let us see now some little bit different examples in fractions, at least a little bit about fractions. Now we have discussed the square root of the full number. Now let us talk about the square root of the fractions because they have got also the square root and the square. Now example, find the square of 9 and 1 over 4. That is to say, this is 9, 1 over 4. So this is a mixed fraction But before you do anything about this one, you have to convert it into improper fraction. That is 4 times 9 plus 1. 36 plus 1 is 37. Over 4 now. Now this is the improper fraction. So we have said we just want to find out the square of this number. So we have said earlier, the square is the product of the same number with the same quantity. That is, when you take this number, you multiply by the number itself. That is 37 over 4 times 37 over 4. So multiplying, that is to say, you take 37 times 37. Now 7 times 7 is equal to 49. Then 7 times 3 is equal to 21. Now 21 plus 4, it is 25. Now 21, here it is 9. Then plus 1, plus 2, it is 11. Now it is 9, 6, 3, 1. Now remember, after taking this one, you get is equal to 1,369 over. Now 4 times 4, is equal to 16. 4 times 4 is equal to 16. So this is what we definitely know. It is the square of this number. But this is not an answer. We need to find out the answer of this question. Now you take the numerator divided by the denominator. You just definitely take the numerator divided by the denominator. That is 369, then over 16. Now it is what? Now you start 16 times which number? You got 136. Now times it. Let us see. 16 times 9, it is 50. No, it is 54. Now it is it. Now it is it times 8. Now it is times 8. Now 8 times 8 here it is 48. Now here it is 12. Now remember, this is the case. Now 16 minus 8, it is 8. Now 9. Now remember, which number should be there? It is. Now let's say it is by 4, which is equal to 64. Now 16 times 5 now, it is 8. Now it is times 5, which is equal to 8. Now 9. Now answer now, it is 85. What have meant 9 over 16. Now an answer is equal to 85. Then it is 9 over 16. So this is an answer. So why have we taken this divided by this one? We just want to change this one into mixed fraction to make it in the same property with the question that was given. Now it is 85, 9 over 16. The other example is find the square root of this number. The square root of 11 and 1 over 9. The first thing that you have to know, this is 11, 1 over 9, and it is mixed fraction. So you have to convert this one into improper fraction. And now it is 9 times 11 plus 1. 9 plus times 11 is 99, plus 1, it is 100 over 9. This is an answer. If it is 100 over 9, so you have to separate the numbers. The numerator should be separated from the denominator. And therefore, numerator should be independent. Now, this one, it is 100. Then, over. Under root of 9. Kwa lazima usitenganishe ya juu na ya chini. Then, under root of 100 over. Under root of 9. Now, under root of 100 is equal to 10. And under root of 9 is 3. Now, it's equal to 10 over 3. Now it is 10, if it is 10 over 3, that is to say, you take 10, then you divide it by 3, which is by 3, now it is 9, then 1. Then it's equal to 3, 1 over 3. If it doesn't be the case, now an answer is equal to 3, 1 over 3. Now this is 3, 1 third. 1 third. Kwa hiyo lazima kwanza tubadilishe hapo sehemu ya kawaida ambayo ni improper fraction, kisha ya juu uitenganishe na ya chini. Kwa zote tusiweka square roots as the way I've done it here. Kwa maana hiyo, this is how we can even try to solve it. Now let us see the last example here. We just have find the square roots of 263 over 81. The same case is applied. What you should do is to find out the improper fraction of this one. So it is 81 times 2. It is 81 times 2, which is equal to 162. Then plus 63, which is equal to 5 here, 2, it is 2. Now, it is 225 over 81. Now, as I said earlier from the second example, I said that you must convert this one, and then you have to separate numerator from the denominator by writing just independently. Now you write, oh, this is under root of 225 over under root of 81. Now the square root of 225 is 15, and the square root of 81 is 9. Now, it is 15 over 9, but this is not an answer. Why is it not an answer? Because when you look at the properties of the question, this is called mixed fraction, and this is improper fraction. So we need to change this one into mixed fraction. That is taking 15 divided by 9. Now it is 15 divided by 9, it is 1, then 9. Now minus 15 minus 9 is 6. Now it's equal to 160 over 9. But this should be simplified because they have got it like properties. The factors which found is here and here should be equal. Now it is by 3 is 2. Now by 3 is 3. Now is equal to 1 and 2 over 3. So an answer now is 1, 2, 3. So this is the square root of this number. While the first thing that you have to know is to convert the fraction into improper fraction, mixed fraction into improper fraction. We learned in fraction, there is no problem at all. And then after you have done that one, you separate the numerator from the denominator by writing independently. That you write the under root of the numerator and the under root of the denominator. And then you find the under root of each other. And then when you have got it, make sure that you have got it is improper. The one that you have got should be in its improper fraction. Now you change that improper fraction to mixed fraction by taking numerator divided by denominator. So it is very important for us to understand what are we talking about and what next we just want to do about it. So this is all about the square and square root, and we are through about it. So next time we just be very careful in solving these questions because they are very important questions, but also they are a little bit different, but you have to be very, very, very careful.